Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to cover Ethereum. So Ethereum is one of the coins that we covered last week, especially in this down channel. We've been watching it, seeing how it's been relatively was pretty strong until that second leg down, and then we had a lot of selling on it and came all the way down to the 563 mark, which was amazing buying opportunity in my opinion, for at least for the short term. And I mean I'm mining Ethereum, as well as I'm trading Ethereum with other altcoins, and that was a really good opportunity in my opinion in short term. And right now what we're seeing is we're coming at the resistance level of around 880, which was the previous high right around the December time frame that we made, December 19th to be exact, and that is acting as a resistance at the moment. We tried to pierce that yesterday, today, this morning, early this morning, but we did not hold on to those gains. People started selling onto and started taking the profits. Those are the people who especially came in and bought it right at this dips around 600 600 levels, 500 levels, upper 500 levels. So these are the people who are taking those profits because they're up in the position like 20+%. So I don't blame them. In last 3 days, if you're up in that 20-30% profit, especially in this uncertain market where a lot of these charts are broken. If you really look at it, these charts are broken. They were really nice and up momentum, but in the short term they have been in this down channel. So these are the investors or traders who are taking those quick gains, and a lot of this have to do with the bot trading as well, because this probably signal a lot of resistance at those level, and that will signal a lot of intermediate resistance for the computer trading, and that will create that momentum for the short term to take the profits. But in long run you have to see that there is a strong community behind Ethereum. There is a good fundamentals, a lot of new ICOs that are coming into the market. They are trusting Ethereum platform. So those are all good things. Those are all positive things in my opinion for Ethereum. What we need to see is we really need to get out of this this channel, this downward channel that we are in Ethereum right now. What I don't want to see is Ethereum coming down low and retesting that 100-day moving average, because if you see this 100-day moving average is right around 733. I don't want it to come and retest that moving average, because that will create some panic, not panic, but people will be like, oh, this was a fake out, and it all kind of, I think in general the crypto community is very very emotional, to be honest. They get carried away very fast, especially if it's on the upside, if it's on the downside. On 1 second they are all happy that, hey, we are going to the moon, and the next second they are be like, oh wow, this is such a fake out, this is scam, blah blah blah. So I think it's a very emotional driven community, and I don't really blame them, because there's a lack of information out there. There's lack of education out there in the community. The people who have that knowledge, and people who trade based on those knowledge and invest based on knowledge, they're doing quite well. They are sitting nicely, and that's what I'm trying to educate or guide you through, that you don't have to trade with your emotions. Get the emotion out of the equation. Trade with what you see. Trade on probabilities, so you will be able to withstand this kind of storms whenever we come across them. Because in every investor, in every trader life, you will have this kind of situations where you will come across where things will not go according to your way or according to your plan. But what you have to do is like you have to be agile. You have to be you have to have like good understanding of where um, where you should be like putting where should you getting into the game and when should you be getting out of the game. The best thing about the retail investor is like you don't have a big positions that will shift the market. All right, so you can quickly get in and out. It's not that you have to get in and get stuck with it. So I mean, it's those kind of things like you have to really um, start learning and start like applying to your investments, and they will come very handy. They will like make you a better investor in long run for sure. It's so I mean, make sure you don't trade with emotions. Make sure you don't um, get carried away with emotion. um, I just see that a lot in crypto community. People trading with emotions and like um, they get burned. They get like it's it's not going to be sustainable if you trade day in day out with like a lot of emotions, because what will happen is you are going to you're gonna watch one of the coins and you're like it's not going your way. You'll be you'll get attached with it. You will be very much attached with it, and you will be like, oh, you know, you keep on watching on your phone, you keep on watching on your laptop and your computers, and you're like, oh, this is not doing anything. I hate this. This is like a scam. Blah blah blah. But I mean, there are no investors or no trader who will always be successful. And there are plenty of people who will fail at this. I'm telling you right now, there are plenty of people who are going to fail at this. People who bought it right here at 1400. What do you think they're holding on to it? What do you think how they are feeling? People who like just and people who like just think that this is just going to be like take is gonna all the investments gonna take care on its own. You don't have to do anything. You just sit back, relax, and we're gonna go to the moon. I mean, yeah, it could happen. Like you can just sit back and like come back in like 2 3 years and like not touch it. Yeah, I mean, if you wanna do that, you can definitely do that. It's really how you want to invest your money. If you It's really how you want to like you know um, trade. But like what I'm trying to explain here is this kind of strategies, this kind of logic you can apply to a lot of other things, not just cryptocurrency trading. You can apply in like if you're buying a house, if you're buying a car, if you're buying anything like and any investment like is if you're buying stocks, it's like if you're buying options, this kind of things like it goes. You can apply this kind of strategies in your longer um, long-term portfolios as well. So diversify. You don't have to get stuck with Ethereum. You don't have to get stuck with Bitcoin. You don't have to get stuck with Litecoin. Put X amount of your portfolio um, in the small caps, in the mid caps, large caps. So you're balancing out your portfolio. So you're like you're when the like when there is a downturn or where the like significant impact to the portfolio, you're managing those situations by diversifying it, by like not putting all your eggs in the one basket. And this is such an early stage right now. A lot of people make those mistakes by just putting all in one and not diversifying it, and it really it's such a bad strategy. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's because in the long run you will see that it might work, it might not, but it's such a like a um, risky like proposition or risky strategy that you don't want to. You might get lucky once, you might get lucky twice, but I'm telling you, I have seen it enough. You if you do this kind of like going all at in one coin and like just hoping for the best, it's like it might work once, it might work twice, but third time when you go try to do a lot more, try to do like taking a loan on your credit card or something and then going in, you'll fail. And by the way, don't ever do that. I see people doing it and it's stupid. It's really stupid. Don't ever do that. I mean, this market are very, very volatile. All right, they're in this very early stage right now, and they're extremely volatile. Do not ever do that. Don't ever go in with money you cannot afford to lose. Okay, let me say that again. Don't ever go into this cryptocurrency market with money you cannot afford to lose. Right, like your rent money, your mortgage money, your car payment. Do not do that. I mean, that's just, only go with the money you can afford to lose, because you hear all the good things about like how people made millions on Bitcoin when they bought it in 2013, but you don't hear about like all the negative impact too, like BitConnect and all those Ponzi schemes. People, like, their exchange got hacked and they are lost millions of dollars. You don't hear about those things. So what I'm trying to say is, like, be a smart investor. All right. So just to wrap it up, I think we need to hold on to these levels, because if we do not hold on to this seven, I just made this support level around 760. Those level, I think, are very. We had a lot of action from 686 to 750. We had tremendous amount of action. So, and if we come around here, and if we, this is almost like a head and shoulder pattern. I can see it. So we need to extremely careful here with Ethereum that it holds this level. And I'm pretty optimistic if the overall market stays positive. Um, so far, I don't see. I was watching the headline news, and nothing that I see in the headline news that is, you know, negative, or something that is like a blind spot news. Let me put it that way. Any blind, I don't see anything that is a blind spot news that should catch a majority of the investor by surprise. This is just a pullback, in my opinion, that it's like, hey, we had a lot of gain, and like some people are taking it some money off the table, which is really expected. I actually posted in one of the comments by one of the viewer who was asking, where should I get in right now. He was asking me last night, and I said wait for a pullback right here, because I was just feeling that we are coming to that resistance area where I can see a pullback, especially into the weekend. But I have a feeling that by early next week, if there are no major news in the market, I have a feeling a lot of investor will come in and take the price action higher. All right, and the next resistance level that we're gonna see in Ethereum is gonna be around 922, and then the next one is gonna be around um, 9 960 960, yeah, 960, and then there is one more at 1,000. Okay. So keep eye on it. We need to get out of this congestion zone right now in Ethereum. That's 700 to almost 800 mark. We have a lot of congestion around that, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna quickly go to the smaller time frame, give you 4-hour view. Okay. All right. So yeah, that resistance. That's the one we need to get out of it right now. There's a 100-day moving average also coming on the 4 hours. So I think in the 4 hours I can see the inverse head and shoulder pattern getting built right here. You can see um, left shoulder, head, right shoulder in making right now. So see if we can get out of that inverse head and shoulder mark, because that will be nice and bullish. We need to break that 982 neckline in case in order to have that um, pattern, inverse head and shoulder, pan out. All right. So in the top, in the smaller time frame, I see inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is more bullish than bearish. But again, we need to follow through. Just because I'm seeing the pattern right now doesn't mean that it has followed through. So we need a confirmation of the breaking of that neckline around 980 in order to get the confirmation. Same thing in 1 hour. I'm seeing the head and shoulder pattern, but we need to, like, if we can stay over this resistance, I mean support zone, then we will be okay. All right. So we need to stay over this support level that we are sitting in right now. Quickly touching on the much higher, weekly um, I like watching weekly as well. Weeklies are pretty so the higher the time frame, the better it gives you, like, it gives you better kind of like a overview. So I like watching those, like, bigger time frame, like daily and weeklies, for just especially for the longer term perspective. All right, so we are right around that 800 mark. So I mean, yeah, I mean, we are sitting right on the support levels. So again, if we need to, like, we need to get some more momentum on the upside right now in order to close this month over that resistance area of 880. If we do that, then it will be really bullish, and we will have some upside potential, and hopefully the run toward the all-time high and beyond. Okay. All right, guys. So that's all for Ethereum for right now. I will cover. Let's just look at Bitcoin real quick. Okay, so Bitcoin, we talked about it yesterday, that it broke that resistance, and now what is going on is um, we're coming right back on that channel. So okay, so right now, again, this, it looks like a like minor fake out, but we have to see how it's gonna close and how it's gonna trade tomorrow. It's over the weekend right now, so don't. I'm not going to be very. I'm not gonna make any calls right now. I know I was saying it's gonna go to 10,000, and I still believe it will go to 10,000 in short term. Especially the global market is staying positive. I don't see any overhead, like the headline any negative news right now. So I have a feeling it's just like a lot of you know the algorithm tradings that are coming to this support area, and people who bought it down here just taking some money out of the market. And usually the tradings are pretty light over the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, you don't have as many traders who are, like, you will have more retail traders who are buying and selling. So I just see that we started the weekend right at the resistance level, right around 8,900, and probably a lot of, like, people, like, took profit who bought it around 6,000 levels. So I think that's quite normal. So let's see how this ends up, and I will be monitoring the situation, and I usually post it in the comments too, so you can always come back and take a look at those comments, that what I'm seeing and what you should be looking out for as far as the support and resistance. All right, so that's all, guys. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit those notification icon. I post the new contents every day. I hope this is helpful. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you really apply this kind of logic into your investments and your trading, and become a better investor in the long run. All right. I wish you all the best, and talk to you soon.